Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this virtual Mexico Aerospace Summit that nowadays is beginning with the second panel for this day. We are really proud and honored, in my case, for moderating this incredible panel for our team that is gathering today for talking about scientific, technological, and innovation development in Mexico's aerospace industry. As you know, this panel is part of virtual events and B2B meetings and all kind of stuff coming out from Mexico now, this incredible company who is supporting industry all over Mexico and US as well. I would like to express briefly the dynamic of this panel. This panel is scientific, technological, and innovation development in Mexico's aerospace industry. As you already saw in the video introduction in the bios that we saw, this panel is really integrated but very, very important top of the line executives in Mexico, Vlatko Vlatkovic, Dr. Salvador Landeros, and Luis Liscano, very close friends of myself. I'm honored to be part of this panel and having the chance to moderate as it goes. The dynamic of this panel is as follows. I will give each one of the panelists in an order of Luis Liscano, Vlatko Vlatkovic, and at the end, Dr. Landeros, Salvador Landeros. Each one of them will have a 3 minutes short presentation. It's quite important that you keep in mind that you have only 3 minutes to pitch or share important point of view and information regarding the topic that we will discuss along the coming minutes. And then after, I will give the word to the next panelist and the next panelist. At the end, we will have a Q&A block. So please stay tuned, and importantly, more importantly, those who are attending, please use the platform, use the chat, so you could place your questions that at the end, if there is time enough, we will have the chance to address it. I have a short presentation about UNAC. As you know, I'm Jorge Gutierrez de Velasco. I'm the president of this institution over here, National Aeronautical University in Querétaro, who is a very interesting institution that I would like to share with you in brief. Okay, can you see my screen? I suppose you can. Okay. It's quite important to mention that UNAC, it's a public institution in Mexico who is attending through a variety of services in both continuing education side and also college programs, the different sub-industries that gather all aerospace sector. From manufacturing, MRO activities, engineering services, and air transportation operations, we have a wide variety of options for supporting industry through the development of their talent. We are really focus-oriented in the client satisfaction. Through pertinency, flexibility, and a strong relationship with companies, we are trying to develop very relevant and pertinent solutions in terms of technical training and technical services. That is our model of competitiveness, from technical training up to master's degree programs. Part of the impact of our institutions, we were created back in 2007. Nowadays, our student population is close to 1,500 students. One of the key figures that nowadays we could share to the audience is that we're close to 2,000 million of USD dollars of investment to Mexico. We have been part of these kind of attraction efforts towards from the government. Nowadays, from all those 1,200, 800 direct jobs registered in Querétaro Aerospace Cluster, we have been part of close to 7,000 specialized technicians who have been trained by us at UNAC. Nowadays, in a 3,000 closely in a yearly basis attendance of our technical courses, we have trained more than 7,000 people along the time. And nowadays, we're close to 2,000 graduates from our college programs. Part of the activities that we have been really involved in, it's applied research, technological development, and through different sources and through different fundings, with the Mexican Space Agency, which is nowadays here present in this panel. Also, we have been able to be part of close to 60 projects in which we have been part of with public funding, with a wide variety of topics like our aircraft armor in composite materials, unmanned aircraft, and different things that we have been involved in. Another important thing that it's really interesting to look at is what is the outlook in Mexico. This is a part of Orbit Plan 2.0, which probably Salvador is going to share briefly on this. It's important to say that in 2014, there was not government investment in R&D and innovation. Part of the strategies of ProAéreo 2.0, which is another public policy instrument. It's talking about that importance of generating liaison mechanisms between industry, research centers, and academy to perform projects together. As part of this idea, I would like to introduce to this panel our first panelist, a very important one. Luis is a very close friend of mine, and we are working together in FEMIA, have the chance to be part of this organization as well. And I would ask Luis, I would stop sharing my screen, and I would ask Luis to share his slides, and you will have 3 minutes from now on. Luis, welcome once again to this panel. Thank you very much for being part of it.
Thank you very much, Jorge. And it's certainly a pleasure and an honor to share this panel with you know, such good friends and such high personalities among the aerospace industry in Mexico. I'm gonna go ahead and share my my screen so I can present a little bit of what our organization is, just to put you in context. You know, I'm in charge of FEMIA, which is Federación Mexicana de la Industria Aeroespacial. We are basically a private non-profit organization, basically established in 2007. As a matter of fact, we're just in our 13th anniversary just 2 days ago. So we are very happy about that. And we group the main companies of Mexico's aerospace industry in the areas of manufacturing, MRO and design, MRO and design and engineering. We have somewhere around a little over 120 members in 14 states of Mexico. And our members accounts for more than 80% of the aerospace industry exports in Mexico. We have a nationwide scope, and also we collaborate both with national and international organizations, such as depicted below in the slide there, you know, with organizations similar to us in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, and France. Okay, the next one, this one is very interesting because these are our members, you know, it's a collage of our members. You can recognize some of the names and some of the logos there. Some of them you may not be recognize those, but are as important because are part of the aerospace industry network. Okay. And just to talk about how we are organized, we're organizing commissions. We have the Honor and Justice Commission, competitiveness, promotion, technical, institutional relationships, relations, supply chain development, MRO, space, which, you know, we're very happy to have Dr. Landeros here with us. You know, we're working very closely, and the human talent formation, which is basically one of the main focus of this panel. And with this, I think this is a brief overview of who we are in organization. Thank you very much, and I pass the microphone and the camera back to Jorge. Jorge, muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you very much. And by the way, you're celebrating as a federation the 13th anniversary, right? congratulations to FEMIA for all the efforts along the time. Thank you for your important support to industry. Okay, now it's the turn to take the time to listen to Vlatko Vlatkovic. As you know, Vlatko is leading the ways of GEIQ in Querétaro, which is one of an important engineering services site for GE in the world. So Vlatko, you will have the screen also to share, and
yes.
for sure you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I will share my screen here real quick and say a few words about why we are here in Mexico and how do we see the situation. GIQ started in Mexico over 20 years ago in 2000, and we understood that it is Mexico is a place that has very good education and very strong engineering and technical tradition. And so it made sense for us to start building up that capability. And today, GIQ is one of the most important parts of the General Electric engineering capability, because it is one of the largest centers for engineering outside of the US. And in fact, it is the largest center of engineering outside of US for the aviation business. We have over 1,000 people, over 1,000 engineers doing work here for aviation, but we also serve GE's gas power business and GE's renewables business. And that's why the name is GE Infrastructure Querétaro. Is more than just aviation. You can see a few statistics here, but what I want to say here, our relationship with the universities and the academic community in Mexico has been very good, and it is very important to what we do. And we don't view this center as kind of a service place for doing tasks. We see it as an equal part of the engineering ecosystem of the company, and we are looking for everything from solid design and experience that we get from the graduates and engineers coming in, to innovation and new technology development that gets used globally in the company. And as therefore, Mexico and the engineers that we employ here are a very, very important part of the company, will remain an important part of the company going forward, and they have global contributions to everything we do. So there are a lot of opportunities for us to continue growing, and the relationship with the technology community in Mexico, also I see a lot of opportunities for us to grow and improve and move forward together. So thank you. Back to you, Jorge.
Thank you, Vlatko. Thank you very much for your interesting highlights, and for sure it will let us know how important for companies like EE, worldwide known companies like the one that you're representing today. It's really engaging with industry, and also engaging with academy and research centers. Please, I want to remind to the audience, more than 200 attendees right now who are already taking care of our conversation. Please do not hesitate to write your questions in the chat platform over here. Okay, and it's time for our last panelist right now, Dr. Salvador Landeros, who I have the opportunity to work with him for in the past. And for sure, it will give us a very good insight of what the Mexican Space Agency has for us today in this panel. Dr. Landeros, le comparto por favor la pantalla, and please go on.
Thank you very much, Jorge. I am glad to share this session with not only very good friends, but prominent professionals. Thank you, Jorge Luis. and Blatko for sharing this session with me. Hello, everyone. I'm going to share my slides. Okay. The Mexican Space Agency is a decentralized public organism depending from Ministry of Communication and Transportation with 10 years of life. The mission is to transform Mexico into a country with scientific activities and spatial technology developments of international class. So we are very interested in having a real technological development, working with industry as well as universities. The vision, the agency promotes the development of space science and technology by placing Mexico as a leading nation. So that is what we want to do in the next years. One of the main priorities is satellite telecommunications. We have 4 positions and 7 satellites on orbit, in geostationary orbit, but we want to identify perspectives of satellite telecommunications and future of the orbital Mexican position. With new technologies like high throughput satellites, high capacity Ka-band, and how we can share our satellites with low orbit constellations that are emerging, like Starlink. And what kind of service can we give with geostationary and lower orbit constellation? Also to make air station and terminal equipment, because generally we buy from foreign countries, and to have digital transformation and services for well-being and social inclusion. There are many satellites on orbit around the world, and there is a very big competition on that. The second priority is air observation. For applying in farming and afforestation, in environmental monitoring and global science. Here we have natural disasters like droughts, floods, fires, climate change, etc. Security and surveillance, urban intelligence and infrastructure. This is related with construction, with cartography, with territorial order. The point here is to drive and develop an integral air observation system. The other application is in natural resources like energy, like petroleum and mines. The third one is exploration, science technology in space exploration. So we have to realize several space exploration activities in cooperation with other space agencies and entities. We have a very advanced project in Mexican moon mission to launch next year, the second semester next year. So also we have plans to send to the International Space Station experiments like fluids mechanics, new materials, medicine, biology, botanic, robotics, propulsion, etc. So the return to the moon, the return to the moon will be in 2024. So we have to collaborate to work with other agencies. NASA has asked us to work with them. So also in the red planet, Mars, we have very good scientific to work in this area. They start to work with curiosity, and now they can work with perseverance This is the March 2020. As you know, 2 months ago were launched 3 instruments to Mars. One from China, one from China, another one from the Arab countries, and the other one from NASA. So here I have to finish saying that with our facilities we have in the Mexican Space Agency, like labs and like new space centers we are going to inaugurate very soon. These facilities and also the collaboration with industry, with university, our international relations with other space agency allow us to start to construct nano satellites and later medium-sized satellites, and why not in the future very big satellites that we can make in collaboration with other countries. Thank you very much, and I am ready for the questions.
Thank you once again. I know it's a very short amount of time, 3 minutes. I know it's pretty much like pitching for a project or sending and sharing short ideas. It's a lot of things that you for sure need to share. Now, I would ask all the panelists, Vlatko, Luis, and Salvador, to turn his camera and audio on. To move on into the Q&A session. But before we have this space for sharing and exchanging ideas and questions also from the audience, I would have to share some brief message that Mexico now have for all the audience. Please move on, Mexico now.
Are you looking to expand your manufacturing business globally while improving your bottom line? Mexico is your answer. Intermex, your partner. Intermex is one of Mexico's most important manufacturing management support and industrial real estate providers. Our customer portfolio of more than 200 international manufacturing firms benefit from effective establishment, operation, and continued success. Additionally, we present our clients with the opportunity to further reduce costs and optimize operation performance by utilizing different management strategies such as shelter, startup, Mexican entity management, specialized services, and our multi-tenant and shared facility option. If Mexico is your choice of destination, Intermex will provide you with highly competitive advantages for the support and experience that can enable your venture to succeed. Think Mexico. Think Intermex.
Thank you very much for the sponsors' messages. Now, I ask once again to all the panelists open their audio and video, please, so we could start the Q&A session for this. Thank you, Vlatko. Thank you, Luis. And we are waiting for Salvador Landeros, who is, I think, in a couple of seconds, he will turn his camera on. Okay, as we know, for the past 15 years, Mexico has evolved tremendously. Mexico has evolved tremendously. Part of this incredible success from coming from 60 to more than 340 companies all over our country is not a result of serendipity. It's not a result of some sort of magic issues. It's part of a consistency, strong relationships with the government, and obviously strong relationship with R&D centers and higher education institutions. That's why I need to ask immediately from your perspective, to each one of the panelists. I would like to ask initially Luis. Shortly, we have a small amount of time to have been able to reach time for questions from the audience who are coming. So Luis, and then after Vlatko, and then after Salvador. How do you think, or how strong do you think is the link between academic and R&D institutions and the aerospace industrial sector in Mexico? And I know that you're really pushing and pulling a lot of efforts, Luis. I know that you're doing so, Vlatko, and obviously Salvador is really living on that. Luis, first you, please.
Thank you, Jorge. Could you repeat the question, please? No, I'm kidding. uh, of course, it's a strong link. I think that's one of the main engines of the aerospace industry developing in Mexico is basically this kind of collaborations between the industry and academic institutions, and now R&D institutions. Talking specifically about CENTA. As you know, CENTA was actually originated by the industry, so actually it's more than a linkage. It's more as a symbiotic relationship there. The same thing happens with the academic institutions, and one good example of that basically is UNAC, which you happen to be the leader of. Uh, UNAC basically was originated with one of the milestone projects in the aerospace industry in Querétaro. And that's the case in other areas or other regions in Mexico. For example, we have our examples like now the Tecnológico Nacional de Mexico with ITSON, and in Chihuahua, Senaltec, and the University of Chihuahua, and the same for Baja California, the same in Nuevo León. So, it's actually, I would say that's not a strong link, but it's more like a symbiotic relationship between industry and academy and R&D. And that I would say it's not strong. It's a living thing between the two of them.
Fortunately for institutions like us, it is, and we are really pulling to make it even wider and with a deeper impact. What is your perspective, Vlatko? The strong relationship, are there strong between academic institution and aerospace industry? Do you think they are?
Yeah, I think they're strong. As I said in the introduction, right? We are here because Mexico graduates 100,000 engineers per year. They're well educated, and they are really, really great. So our experience has been excellent over the last 20 years. And as I said, Mexico is very important. We drive this relationship. We benefit from all of the academic institutions and all of the investments that made, in places like UNAC and so on. But the question in my mind is, how do we take this to the next level, right? What is the next thing and what needs to happen? And I would say our experience is great at, let's say, bachelor and master's degree level. I think the next challenge for Mexico is how to really focus on building a knowledge economy and really advanced skills in the aerospace area. How do you focus on that? And I think it would make a lot of sense to have a national strategy or a national program that focuses on developing strong, targeted PhD programs, research programs at various universities, at various research labs, and collaborate with the industry that is in the Mexican environment, and then together really take it to the next level. I think that's the challenge for the country, and that's what we are looking for as a company, or as a place that doesn't manufacture anything, right? I think Mexican responded fantastically to feeding the need of people that want to manufacture something in the country, right? The next question is, how do you serve the need of companies that want to focus on innovation, on new technology, on growth?
Vlatko, you just stole my comment and my question. So if things are going so far, in a sense, good, what is still missing? What is still missing? I think that we might be talking about public policies that really set up a very strong supply chain development, but based on knowledge, based on technology, based on on those specific programs that are relevant for industry.
Yeah.
You mentioned also another important topic, which means that industry is really driving, and you guys should be the drivers of innovation. You should be the drivers of developing technology, of developing applied research that gets to the market, which is really something that companies are really looking at and looking for since they decide whether they establish operations or not. I would pass also the question to Salvador Landero. Salvador, you are now leading the way of a very interesting and also relevant institution, a public institution in Mexico, which is the Mexican Space Agency. And since the very beginning that we met, I remember that you have been always talking about that having a long-term vision, having a strong relationship with the industry. What do you think from your perspective is the relationship between academic institution and aerospace industry in terms of your field, the space niches? I know that you are working with something with FEMIA. I know that you guys are messing around for configuring something incredible to show to the industry. What could you share about that, Salvador?
Thank you, Jorge. First of all, I would like to clarify that the aeronautical part is very strong in Mexico. There are many companies, many industry, and is very mature. But in the space part, we have to work more. So the collaboration between academic institution and aerospace industrial sector in the aeronautical part is very strong. I think I coincide with Luis. There are strong links between Mexican universities and aerospace industry in Mexico, especially in regions where there are many aerospace companies, like the states of Sonora, Chihuahua, and Querétaro, Nuevo León, among others. And one example that Luis said was the university, the Aeronautical University of Querétaro. So that is the first example. So, but they are working, or you are working in aeronautical. So in the space part, we have to work harder, because we need more programs in space, bachelor's, graduate programs, masters, PhDs in space. I am not worried about aeronautical. But you know that in general, relation academy industry is one of the most weak links in the productive chains. So, as you said, Jorge, is necessary a public policy to improve the cooperation between academy and industry. Is still weak. But as I said, in some regions and in aeronautical area is really very, very strong. So this collaboration, one part is to have new academic programs in the universities, because we have very few in the space part. And also, we have at the Mexican Space Agency, we are working on extracting these links and expanding the space sector, not just to the aeronautical industry, but of course for the space part. We have several programs in the Mexican Space Agency to do this. So the conclusion of my answer is that in some regions, in some areas, we are very strong. In others, we are very weak. Thank you.
Gracias, Salvador. Thank you very much for your comment. I think that you just touched one of the specific topics for the next question. Vlatko was talking about how could we really focus on making Mexico or developing Mexico as a knowledge economy, which it's really stated simply, but it has a lot of things and a lot of concerns, beginning with public policies and also having a long-term vision of industry specific projects. And nowadays, because of the outbreak, each one of us in this panel and those 200 attendees who are looking at us and hearing our conversation, there are more than 20 questions over here, so we will try to catch some and share with the audience and with you panelists. But I may say that if we just imagine that Mexico would really want to focus on developing on a knowledge economy, okay? One of the questions over here was, how could students, how could the universities, R&D centers might identify, once again, how students, how universities, R&D centers could identify those specific projects with you guys from companies, with you guys from industry, to really develop that idea. I mean, nowadays, because of the outbreak, companies are looking different niches, right? Different niches of opportunity, because we know that that aeronautic industry is on standby in a sense. Nowadays, part of the forecast that we have read are saying that the recovery of industry may take up to 3 years and more even in some cases, right? But we need to look at some other niches. So what companies should do together with institutions, R&D centers, to move on? Salvador was sharing about he's not concerned about aeronautic industry. We're moving on. Well, probably we're concerned, right? But not in the sense of really beginning from scratch. Nowadays, we have a big opportunity with the space niche. What do you think, guys, about the space niche and what Salvador and probably Luis might share of the work that you are doing together for the industry? I would begin with you, Vlatko, because I know that GE also has, probably not here in Mexico, but you have operation on space for sure.
Yeah, well, I think that as you say, I wouldn't call space a niche. I mean, it's a huge area, right? And it's a fantastic platform or an initiative for a country to develop knowledge in that area, right? So if we are talking about taking things to the next level, what I think Mexico or any country that wants to compete on a global scene and be seen as a leader in a particular field needs to have a platform that will pull it forward, right? And so I think space is a great one. I think there should be a lot more resources dedicated to Salvador and what he is doing, and you know, because he's doing the right thing and it really benefits the country in the long term, and it creates people that are experienced and knowledgeable in this field. But I also think there needs to be a national platform for aeronautics as well. For example, I'm just brainstorming here. Why doesn't Mexico decide to build its own airplane or its own helicopter? Right? Mexico is great, but Mexico is fragmented. And it's very difficult to grow quickly when you are fragmented. Right? There's many, every state has their own plan. There are many companies. We all have our individual needs. We all have our individual relationships with different universities, with different local governments, and so on. And all of that is great. But I think Mexico needs to have a coherent platform that will pull it forward. Right? That would be my approach. That would be what I suggest to really get focus on this and drive growth deliberately over the next 10 years. You know, as far as the pandemic goes, yes, we're all suffering at the moment, but we are all coming back. People will continue to fly. This industry is healthy, fundamentally healthy. I view the pandemic and the pause in in the growth as a temporary thing, and so I'm not worried. So this is a place where we need to invest and where we need to invest strategically, and that's what I would do, right? And then underneath that pulling force, you know, you build all these capabilities.
Thank you, Vlatko. As you mentioned, we need to have a strategy, and which is really important. I know that Luis and Salvador are working on something like that. Probably would be, I don't know if it's time to release it. However, you probably could give a glance on this. Luis.
Yes, well, some comments, and I have to concur with Vlatko and Salvador, you know, how to take things to the next level, okay? And that's one approach. And the other approach is, you know, space. You know, if we talk about aerospace industry, it's actually a subsector. Aerospace is an industry sector, has two basic segments. Actually, the name says it, aeronautics and space. And, you know, space is a big mega trend into the future, into the near future. Actually, it's a big present opportunity right now. Right now, it's an opportunity for business. My comment on this is how to take things to the next level, basically, and this goes back to Vlatko's comment, is teamwork. We need to work together as a team. We need to work together, the companies, industry organizations, universities and academia, you know, of course, government, you know, through public policy, you know, but, you know, is not doing just your thing, is not taking your responsibility and delivering, which is something that is fairly needed right now. We all need to deliver, but it's not all. You know, we need to work together in order to multiply what we deliver as a whole, as a country. You know, we have many examples, you know, and one good example is basically what we're doing with the Formation Commission, which, you know, you are basically the president of that, Jorge, and we're very proud that you are actually leading that commission. But also, you know, what we're doing with Salvador and space, you know, we recognize that that is an industry subsector that is extremely important. And, you know, of course, we have the brain power, if I may say, to take things to the next level and move this industry, which is basically a knowledge-based industry and technology-based industry and innovation-based industry, to the next level. We can do that. And that's why, you know, we have been, to a certain extent, successful in the aeronautics. And what we want to do and what we are planning with the Mexican Space Agency is to try to replicate that that case that we have in the aeronautics in space industry, trying to develop the space industry and take it to the next level, as Vlatko mentioned. But I think the name of the game here is teamwork. That's the name of the game. If we can work together and we can do things together, I think that's the name of the game, and that's how we can propel this thing to the sky.
Thank you, Liz. I totally agree with both of you guys. We need to to work together and make things happen, which is something that for the case of aeronautics has been happening for the past 15 years. So we need to move on and think on a strategy and thinking and see each other as a team. Salvador, what could you share us regarding this? And we're getting close to the end of the panel, but I would like to at the end, after Salvador with a minute answer, probably reach one of the questions from the audience. Adelante, Salvador.
Thank you, Jorge. I want to answer this question explaining one example. We launched last December one nanosatellite with the SpaceX company to take this nanosatellite to the International Space Station. That was a success. We work with some universities. So working with universities, we already have solved this question, because now we are going to have the next generation of this AztecSat. Now is coming the next generation, and we are working already with several Mexican universities. So that is fulfilled. But now we need to add the industry to make more important and more bigger projects. And I think that is not difficult. There are many aeronautical companies, and some of them have the potential and vocation to enter in the space sector, either supported by its headquarters or subsidiaries, as well by its own initiatives and conveniences. So we could have space projects now with universities, with industry. We need to formalize this with FEMIA. We are going to do that very soon. But another thing that is happening in the world is that the private sector is investing a lot of money in space. You know some examples, like the most rich people in the world are investing in space. So that is an opportunity for some companies. We have some examples that aeronautical companies like Boeing, like Lockheed Martin. There are other companies like Mr. Bezos is investing millions, thousands of millions of dollars on this. Not only in satellites, not only in launches, but also in the deep space, to exploring the solar system, to go to the moon, to go to Mars. And where is the business there? Where is the business? Why they are investing a lot of money? Because they are not going to have a return back soon. But with this investment, they can have other businesses, other business around. So the benefits is not only to go to the moon, is not only to go to Mars, is also to change the industry, to change the science, to change the universities. So this is what we have to do. And I think that we don't have more time to do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Salvador. We should not hesitate on moving on as fast as possible. Gracias, Salvador. I think we're getting close to the finish of this panel. However, some of the questions that have been written over here in the Q&A session has been really interesting. I just want to say to those who have posted questions that at the end of this panel, there would be the contact info of each one of the panelists to send directly to them the questions. And they, for sure, believe me, they will be willing and more than eager to answer you with all the Q&As that you have posted. As a closing comment for this session that is recorded since the very beginning and will be posted at Mexico Now website and YouTube channels, I would say, for the what do you think, in your perspective, a short answer in a few words, if I may say, should do universities and R&D centers to try to follow the path that nowadays industry is building or will have to build, right? Because now we are, as universities and R&D centers, are struggling with budget, right? We are lacking of public policy funding for applying for grants, right? I mean, we're facing a lot of challenges. And as a matter of that teamwork point of view that Luis was sharing and agreeing with Vlatko and of course with Salvador, what do you think in a short statement, so we could close properly the panel? How do you think universities and R&D centers should be doing in order to follow industry right now? Vlatko, please.
Yeah, so I think what I said is focus. So universities and R&D centers should create advanced programs, right, for education or research focused on particular important technological areas so that they bring really deep expertise in various areas. For example, additive manufacturing, just to pick one, right? You can pick any one of 100 other technical areas. But I think universities and R&D centers need to find their focus areas and go really deep and develop knowledge and real technological contributions in these areas.
Thank you. Very, very clear. Luis.
I think what they should do right now, the academic institutions, is again recognize that the sign of the times right now is change. Okay, the rules of everything, the status quo of everything is changing. You know, the way we do business, the way we educate, the way we communicate, everything is changing. So we need to be receptive to change. That's one of the things. And the other one, of course, there are budgetary and financial restrictions, but not only on the education institutions and research centers. That's basically all over the place. You know, even companies and governments have budget restrictions as well. So we need to be very assertive and very creative. And the only way to attain that is basically working together. Again, if we work together, if we I would say with a very naive approach or very candid approach, of working together and pursuing a common objective, whatever this is, to develop things, and let things aside of some other things that we have been experiencing in the past. I think that's the best way to do it. Work together, work as a team. It doesn't matter where you are serving. You are part of this machinery, to make things happen. You know, if we don't recognize that we need to work together as a team, then I think we're lost. So we need to recognize change, and we need to recognize that we need to work together.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you very much. Salvador, finally, 1 minute comment on this.
In somehow, industry could be at the university day by day and vice versa. Like example, industry can give some projects to the university, and the university should have more time stays in the industry. So they need to have more collaboration. Some students are very brilliant. They can lead some projects in industry, and these frontier innovation projects can be initiated by these brilliant students in the industry. So, and the industry can support university with seminars, with labs, with some of the engineers to go to the university to teach some courses, etc., etc., etc. So there are many things to do, and it's not difficult to do that.
Okay, well, has been an interesting living room conversation, I may say so, because of very good friends and very good young fellows, very well experienced guys who are managing incredible companies and organizations as you guys. Once again, thank you very much, Luis Liscano, General Director of EMEA, very close friend. Thank you, Luis, for your time, your experience, your patience as well. Vlatko, I'm really honored. You're part of our governance of UNAC. So thank you very much for all your support in a daily basis. I know how strong you are working with your team and mine. So once again, thank you from GIQ. And Salvador, it's really an honor to be part of this panel with you from Mexican Space Agency. This has been the panel for our fourth panel in this virtual Mexico Space Summit from Mexico Now. Once again, thank you very much, all those assistants to this panel. Thank you very much, and see you soon. The information will be ready on the screen, so you will be free and willing to contact either of the panelists. Thank you. Have a very good day. And once again, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.